It was just after dawn when the sound of rain tapping against the worn-out window pulled Daniel Reed from sleep. The house was quiet, too quiet. For a moment, he forgot he was the only one holding it together. The bills, the groceries, the leaking faucet, and most of all, raising his 7-year-old daughter, Lily. Daniel had been a single dad for almost 3 years now, ever since Emily, his wife, had passed away after a short, brutal illness. Since then, the house felt heavier. Every photo on the wall carried weight, every empty chair reminded him of absence. But Daniel didn't complain. He couldn't afford to. Lily needed laughter, warmth, and stability, and he'd sworn he'd give her that, even if it meant working late shifts and sacrificing his own dreams. But the truth was, money was tight. The mortgage had been hanging over his head for months, and though he picked up extra work at the auto shop, it never seemed enough. One evening, as he stared at his dwindling savings, Daniel saw the small flyer taped to the community bulletin board at the grocery store. Students looking for affordable rooms near campus. That was when the idea struck him. He had a spare room. Emily's old sewing room. The thought of letting a stranger live there tugged at him, but practicality outweighed hesitation. He cleaned it out, posted an online ad, and within days, a message arrived. Her name was Claire. 19, polite, and a freshman at the local university. She needed a quiet place, close enough to campus, and she didn't mind helping around the house. Something in her tone felt genuine. When the day came, Daniel stood at the doorway, Lily peeking out from behind his leg. A car pulled up, a modest little sedan, not the shiny kind students with rich parents drove. Out stepped a young woman with auburn hair tied back in a messy bun, wearing a faded hoodie and jeans. She carried just 2 duffel bags. "Hi, Mr. Reed? I'm Claire," she said, her voice warm, her smile careful. Daniel nodded. "Come in, and just call me Daniel." From the beginning, Claire blended into the household in ways Daniel didn't expect. She wasn't just a tenant. She helped Lily with her homework, taught her how to braid friendship bracelets, and even showed Daniel a few tricks in the kitchen when he burned grilled cheese again. The house felt different with her in it, lighter, less lonely. But there was something Daniel couldn't quite place about her. She was humble, always offering to help, never demanding. Her clothes were simple, her phone was old, and she worked part-time at the campus library. Yet every now and then, there was a flicker in her eyes, a quiet strength, as if she carried a secret she never spoke of. One Saturday afternoon, Daniel overheard a conversation between Claire and Lily. They were sitting cross-legged on the living room floor, coloring. "Do you miss your mom?" Claire asked softly. Lily nodded. "Sometimes. But Daddy says she's in the stars now, watching us. Do you miss yours?" There was a pause. Daniel leaned against the doorway, unnoticed. Claire's voice trembled just slightly. "Yeah. I miss her too. But sometimes I think, maybe she's watching me too." Daniel felt a pang of empathy. He knew loss when he heard it. Weeks turned into months. Claire became family. She was there at Lily's school play, cheering the loudest. She helped Daniel fix the broken porch light. At Christmas, she surprised them with handmade gifts. Scarves she knitted herself. For a while, it was easy to forget she was just renting a room. But then one evening, everything shifted. Daniel had been struggling with an overdue bill. He thought he'd hidden the notice well, but Lily had accidentally pulled it out while grabbing crayons. Claire saw it on the counter. She didn't say anything right away, but later that night, when Lily was asleep, she knocked on Daniel's door. "Can I talk to you?" she asked. Daniel looked tired, the weight of the world in his eyes. "Of course. What's on your mind?" She hesitated. I noticed the bill. You're behind on the mortgage, aren't you?" Daniel's pride flared, but only for a moment. He sighed. "It's nothing you need to worry about. You're my tenant, not my problem solver." Claire's gaze was steady. "Maybe not. But you've given me more than a room. You've given me a home. And I don't want to just stand by if you're drowning." Her words caught him off guard. No one had spoken to him like that in years. But he shook his head. "I can't take money from you, Claire. Rent is already low as it is." She smiled faintly. "That's not what I meant." Daniel frowned. "Then what?" Claire drew a deep breath, as if she'd been carrying the weight of this moment for a long time. "Daniel, I haven't been completely honest with you. My dad, he's not just some guy. He's Robert Hayes. The name probably doesn't mean much to you, but... Daniel froze. Robert Hayes? The Hayes Corporation?
She nodded slowly. Yeah, he's my father. The name echoed in his mind. Hayes Corporation was everywhere. Real estate, tech, charity foundations. Billionaire level. Daniel stared at her, stunned. The modest clothes, the old phone, the simple car, it didn't add up.
I don't understand, he said. If you're his daughter, why live here like this? Her eyes glistened. Because I needed to know who I was without the money. My whole life, people treated me like a bank account, not a person. I wanted to see if someone could accept me just for me. Not for the last name.
Silence hung between them. Daniel tried to find the right words, but Claire's voice softened.
And you did. You and Lily, you gave me something money can't buy. A family that feels real. Daniel swallowed hard. Emotions he couldn't name swirling inside him. He thought of all the nights he'd worried about making ends meet, all the sacrifices he made for Lily, and now here stood this young woman who could probably erase his problems with a single phone call. But she wasn't offering pity. She was offering truth. The next weeks brought unexpected change. Claire's father eventually found out where she was staying. One evening, a sleek black car pulled into the driveway. Out stepped Robert Hayes himself, tall, commanding, yet softened by the sight of his daughter hugging Lily at the door. Daniel braced himself for disapproval, for demands that Claire return home. But instead, Robert shook his hand firmly. You've taken care of my daughter. For that, I owe you more than I can ever repay. Daniel didn't know what to say. But the gratitude in Robert's eyes told him this wasn't about wealth, it was about something deeper. In the weeks that followed, life blossomed in ways Daniel never imagined. Repairs on the house that had lingered for years suddenly got fixed. Opportunities opened at the auto shop where he worked. None of it felt forced, it felt like quiet blessings, arriving without fanfare. But the greatest change wasn't financial. It was the bond that deepened between them all. Claire wasn't just a tenant anymore. She was part of their little family, a thread woven into the fabric of their everyday lives. And every night, when Lily begged for one more bedtime story, it wasn't just Daniel tucking her in anymore, it was Claire too. Her laughter echoing through the halls of a house that no longer felt heavy with silence, but alive with hope.